Hey guys, this is G from DJ Corner, and today we're in the studio to do something new. We realized that a lot of you guys are using Studio One, so this fun web series is gonna be called Studio One Sessions, and it is dedicated to you guys so that you guys can get accustomed and familiar to Studio One. And now for this web series, we're gonna be using Studio One 4, more specifically Studio One 4.5. So without further ado, let's get into it.
Uh. Yeah.
Alright, once you enter Studio One, once you launch the software, this is the screen that is brought up in front of you. Over at your right, you have your news feed that comes directly from PreSonus. Here you can find all the latest stuff from PreSonus, like the new gears, like mixers, audio interfaces, preamps, control surfaces, etc., and everything that's new with Studio One. Also, you find some special offers from companies that work with PreSonus when it comes to VSTs, plugins, sound packs, instruments, effects, and also some testimonials and also tutorials and stuff like that. Over at the center, you have your artist profile. Over here, we have set it to the Boy In Orange because, hey, we make music too. And at the bottom, you have your audio device setup and your MIDI device setup, whether it's a keyboard or a control surface, etc. Now over at the left, you have your recent files. These are all the files that you have worked on or are working on. Over at songs, you have, it's the same thing as the recent files, except that this one is categorized by alphabetically categorized. Over at projects is basically that's where you would bring your finished songs for mastering and for release, whether it's a digital or a physical release. Over at the top, you have options like create a new song, create a new project, open an existing document. Now with create a new song, this is basically you creating a brand new track from scratch. Now after you have finished that track and mixed it down, you can bring it to create a new project. That's where you would master your song with other songs if you're making an LP or an EP. Over at open an existing document, that's basically where you click if you have a project or a song that you have made on another computer that does not show up here. Since it was not made with your particular computer, it's not going to show up as a recent file. Now, let's create a new song by clicking create a new song. Over at this dialog box, over at the left, you would see different presets such as empty song, band recording, house techno. So basically these presets allow you to make a new song without having to deal with other stuff that you don't need, like extra channels that you don't need, or extra plugins or effects that you don't need, or extra or other instruments that you don't need. And it basically just setting up Studio One for the best recording scenario. Now over at the right, you will see your song title. Let's change the title to tutorial. Alright, now as far as right below it is where you would want to set up your folder for easy access. Now as far as sample rate and resolution is concerned, for everyone who is new to music production, I recommend keeping everything at default settings. Later on we will talk about what these mean, but for those of you who are wondering, it's basically how the overall audio quality will will be, basically. But again, let's talk more in depth about it later. Let's leave our time base at bars because that would be the easiest when it comes to composing and music production. Song length, we'll leave it at 5 minutes. That will give us a minute at the intro and outro to, to rearrange stuff if we need it to be rearranged. Tempo, 120 is a little too fast for me, so we'll put it at 90. Time signature, most modern songs are composed in a 4x4 time signature, so we'll leave it at that. Key signature, we still don't know how our song is going to be like, or what kind of song is going to be like, so we'll leave that at blank. And after everything, we hit OK. Alright, now as you can see, our project is completely empty. Everything is empty. Over at your bottom right, you'll find these 3 view buttons, so you can toggle between different kinds of views. Let's hit browse. Now over at the browser section, you'll find your home, instruments, effects, loops, files, etc. Over at home is basically where they dumbed it down to just mention instruments, effects, loops, files, etc. So basically it's just an overview of what's up here. Now if you hit instruments, you will go to instruments and find all your installed instruments. Now from PreSonus we have Impact, Sample 1, Presence, Mai Tai, Mojito, etc. And also if you see this drop down arrow, you'll find all the different presets just ready to be dragged and dropped. Now if we just drag and drop this particular instrument, for example, this particular preset of Impact, for example, we'll take that, click, drag it and drop it, and there we go. Over at the bottom you will find your transport controls. That's your stop button, your play, record, loop. Over at the left you'll find your MIDI activity over here. Over at the right you'll find your tempo and your master volume as well. Now over at the left column you will find everything that you have dropped into your studio, all the different instruments, audio clips, etc. Now for example, if you take another instrument or plugin and drop it, it will show up there. Take another one and it will show up there. Now over up here you will have your different tools like your select, your slice tool, your erase tool, and so on, your quantize, everything. Now if you go down here again to mix, everything that you have inserted over here will show up at your mixing console, which is here. Over at the top of the mixing console per channel is your inserts. That's where you can drop your different effects. For example, I go to effects in the browsing section. I'll pick one of PreSonus's effects, like for example I would like a compressor on my kick drum, so I go to compressor, drag and drop it again, and that's it, I have a compressor. Set my threshold. We aren't going to do any music today. This is just an overview video, just to show you guys how easy it is to use a PreSonus Studio One 4.5. Now if we get rid of the mix and browse, again this is your arrange view. You can just double click anywhere and you hit up edit at the bottom and you can make yourself a new drum sequence. But we'll leave that for next week because I don't want to overwhelm you guys with so much information. Well, there you have it guys, a basic overview of PreSonus Studio One 4.5. Now this is just the beginning. We will do more videos like this every week, and every week we'll talk about a different aspect of Studio One 4.5 and music production in general using Studio One 4.5 again. So Hopefully you found this video informative. If you guys have any questions, don't hesitate. Just contact your Boys in Orange. We'll try to help you out as much as we can. And until next week, stay safe.